Good evening, morning, afternoon, global population, Sam Fisher 8. Right, well, let's talk about controlled ops, shall we? Now, everyone knows the term controlled opposition. But as I mentioned last time, I don't think many people understand, one, its purpose, or two, how it works. You see it bandied around a lot these days. That term. Either that or shill. I hate that term, I really do. But if people actually do what being a controlled op actually entails, or how they conduct themselves, they might think a little bit differently to bandying that around all the time. And again, the reason, the very fact it's being bandied around all the time is also in and of itself a form of controlled opposition. Because it then lessens the meaning and impact of the term. Controlled opposition is usually someone on the inside of our movement, of which there are a lot. Far more than people would like to admit, really. You see, it's a little known fact that historically our little neck of the woods was actually started off by the system, for the system, to be used as a tool for the system. Almost all information we get, almost all whistleblowers, are tightly managed and controlled and timed. And that goes for, like I said, pretty much everything. We are given the information we're given because it fulfills a certain objective. And these guys aren't opposed to using the truth in order to confuse and also to get us to discredit that idea, which we do quite a lot. We do this through tribalism, through us banding round a certain idea or a certain person, a certain figurehead, and then mistrusting other figureheads that go against that idea or that figurehead, calling them out as shills, not to be trusted. When, in actual fact, the very person that they're supporting is likely controlled opposition as well. I've used this example a lot before, right? But here's a good example. That's 9/11. 9/11 was one of the biggest events in our history, particularly for this century, as it was a clear example of the multifaceted, multi-faction sort of nature of a big event like that. In other words, it wasn't just one faction. You can't just blame one sort of group, because there were several all working at once with their own multiple objectives, capitalising on this one event. Because of this, they were able to disseminate sections of truthful information to different sorts of factions and different agents that work for them, yeah, inside the truth movement. All of them sounding pretty plausible, and with the followers of that one agent or one faction calling out the other as being controlled opposition. You see how it works. Then that truth on the other side is discredited by one lot, that truth on the other side is discredited by another lot, and blah 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 blah. Eventually you get all sides discounting the other's evidence, when in fact all of it put into one pot will give you the whole truth, because all of it is true. This isn't new. This has been done countless times before. Now, there are other ways of doing things. People tend to think that a controlled op will come out with just blatant lies and that's it. That's not true either. To be an effective controlled op, you need to use quite a lot of truth in order to draw your followers in. It's only by minor, very slight and subtle omissions, or the changing of a date or a time, or the spelling of a name, that is enough to throw people off, and they will do the rest. It's actually a very simple process, and I don't think many people understand that. It's a very simple process, very easy, and like I said, can be done with just the tiniest of changes, because it then snowballs from that, which is something a lot of people don't understand. So you can tell the difference between an actual controlled op and someone like, I don't know, Dr. Charlie Ward or Simon Parrott. They don't have the subtlety or the wherewithal or the intelligence to actually be an effective control opposition. There's a saying I have. I use it quite a lot, maybe not in my vids as much these days. Pardon me, but during my talks, podcasts I have, I used to have it as one of the quotes at the beginning of my videos, but then I saw it in my intro. But you probably saw it again this time. And that's it. The whole system is built on the foundation of one formula, or this formula. It's 95% truth, 10% lies. Now, I dare say the majority of you are going, well, that doesn't work out. It's bad mathematics. No, it's not. That's not the point. You see, the actual equation itself is in fact a lie. But it's a representation of how you can obfuscate and hide the truth by using truth mixed with the tiniest change. So even though it says 10% lies, you're not entirely sure how much is a lie. With 95% truth, you're still not entirely sure that it is 95% truth. There's that ambiguity, that vagueness within that statement. It makes you question. And it's this very element that they use at the basis for everything that they do. leave things clouded, ambiguous, jaded, confusing. You see, that was another thing that I mentioned last time as well. And it's the people that are constantly shouting or calling out people as controlled opposition. In some respects, those very same people are advertently or not, half the time inadvertently, being the very same controlled opposition they're claiming to be calling out in a strange roundabout way. And this is due to maybe just a single person stating that someone's not quite on the level because of X, Y or Z reasons, that makes people wary, take a step back, or downright ignore everything that's coming from coming from the person who's being accused. We've seen this consistently during this so-called pandemic. And I gave my reasons for why, in a great many of cases, we were actually very foolish to believe these people saying that they were controlled, all these doctors, etc. There's another thing I say quite a lot, because despite what people think, you do still need to actually listen to these people. If in most part to understand how they're playing the game and what they're propagating. But also because, like I said, 95% of what they say is truth. It's up to you to figure out what's a lie. So, everything, if you're researching, take what you can verify as fact, retain that. Anything that sounds plausible, but you can't yet verify, put it to one side. And everything else, disregard. If you can't find an additional source, don't bother posting it. Fortunately, with a great many of these doctors that have come forward, there are countless other sources saying the exact same thing, very often independently. You cannot just discount somebody as being controlled on the say-so of one person, because 9 times out of 10 that very same person that's saying that they're controlled is very likely controlled. If you get a few people saying the same thing, again, go back to what I said. Take what you can verify, put to one side that sounds plausible but you can't, and bin the rest. Basically, that's what you should be doing anyway, across the board. And for God's sake, don't post anything that is only verified by that single person. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. I'll see you later.